Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to our latest One Connect webinar. Today we're going to be looking at NetSuite CRM. This is the second webinar in this series, but don't worry if you missed out on the first one, we will be sending that along with this recording after this session today. So just a quick introduction to our presenters today. So my name's Emma Barnard. I'm one of the key account managers here at Bluebridge One. And the majority of the session today will be run by Hendrik, who is one of our principal pre-sales consultants and our CRM lead here at Bluebridge One. Just before I hand over to him, could we please take a moment just to read our safe harbour statement? Now, before I hand over to Hendrik, I just want to take a moment to highlight our Bluebridge One Centre of Excellence team. This is a team of experts that we have here at Bluebridge One who are a dedicated team who have got a deep business knowledge in particular areas. So I've just highlighted those guys there, and you can just see a little bit more about which area they focus on. Obviously, today you will be in the capable hands of Hendrik, who's our CEO on CRM.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us in this continuation of the NetSuite CRM sessions. For those of you that are interested, I think it is well worth watching the first one that we did. We spoke there very much around the basics, what's vanilla in NetSuite, marketing campaigns, leads, quotes, pipelines, cases, and a few other topics. So really looking at the base of what NetSuite CRM entails. Today we are going to go beyond. So I may still go through a few things that I mentioned in the first one. There's certain things that I just can't help but highlight twice, but mostly we're going to be doing quite a few very exciting things. We're going to look at and a lot of this is some of the newer modules or things that most people may not be aware of. So we're going to look at the CPQ configure price quote module. We're going to talk about field services, some more AI. AI is the absolute buzzword these days. We're definitely going to talk about that. With it, also intelligent recommendations. If you've got commission structures, well worth waiting for that portion. And we're going to just touch on collaboration and internal tools that we are developing that is also really worth consideration. So with that, why NetSuite CRM in general? NetSuite, and I spoke about this last time as well, but NetSuite CRM or NetSuite works as a good CRM system, not because of any one piece of functionality, but because of the core that it is built off of. Because NetSuite has the unique architecture of being single database, single source of truth, it allows for all of these really interesting things to work on top of elegantly. So you can easily do these 360s of your customers. You can have the additional functionality without breaking stuff that you already have. And then we've got all the richness of the environment, mobile ready, AI that is starting to cover all of that, and the ability to still expand without building a bag of spanners. All right, so let's take a look at our first big module, one of my absolute favorites that's now recently come out, the CPQ module. Now, for those that might be unfamiliar, the concept of CPQ configure price quote is really about that configure to have a price and quote. So it is meant to be, and it is, a series of made for humans questions that typically you address to your sales team and guide them through multiple technical options to build a custom technical product. It is well worth a look. If you've got any kind of business where you are building something very bespoke, where you've got a very wide product range, more so than you can typically have SKUs of, this is probably a tool that you need. Now, I'm going to talk through the basics of this, just show this, but I also want to note that this allows for the generation of branded proposals over and above the quote. I'll just briefly show a little bit of that. And then that also feeds into, if you are manufacturing this yourself, also can automatically generate the bill of material. So I'm just going to do a screenshot or two. This does not do it justice, but if you look at this screen, you can see here on the left-hand side, this is the kind of interaction that you have with a system. This is all about building a specific desk. You can choose this shape that you want to have. You can choose the dimensions. You can choose the finish. You can choose the trim. You can choose add-on options. So you've got multiple options. The module is written in such a way as well that when you select certain things, certain options become available or are marked as unavailable. Again, so that the salesperson who's trying to make the sale does not need to keep in their head a whole bunch of technical specifications. I don't need to remember that the mahogany is not available if I've got a specific inset. The configurator has that logic built in, and that will also lead into, you can see on the right-hand side at the bottom there, will start putting together the quote with all the options. Whether it's parts, whether it's additional labor, all of that gets put together. Again, if you've got any kind of business where you've got this massive configuration, this is a module really worth looking at. One of the things that NetSuite also does in terms of this, I'm not showing this in this slide, but you can actually have the image change as you make different selections. There are some limitations on just how far that goes, but you can have the desk or chair or whatever it is that you're building visually change. If you change colors, you can change it if you change shape. It's quite impressive what it can do. What's also really nice, which is over and above what I've seen in most other similar products, is you can not just create this quote, you can build a full-on proposal. So this includes customized images based on the colors and the selection that you made. You can have long descriptive text. You can really have a bit of a marketing blurb going to actually put together this whole full proposal, not just a flat quote with a few lines of price. Again, if you are in the niche markets and you have customers who like to get an info pack, you've got an info pack that is their unique, specific thing that you've never built before with an info pack for that product. Amazing selling point to have. All right. Keep that in mind. Contact us if you're interested. I'm going to head on to the next one. Another major one, the field service management has been with NetSuite now for quite some time. It's had a name change. It used to be a third-party product. It's been brought into the NetSuite stable now as field service management. And this is all about having some form of technicians, some people that are going outside of your own organization to go and do things. So the suite of solutions here is first and foremost around the scheduling. So you have a screen where you can go and you can see who's available, see the skill set that you have a map where you can trace people's location in real time, and then assign them specific tasks. So you can have calls, you can have breakdowns, you can have scheduled maintenance, issues that need to get resolved that comes through as tickets onto the system. Those tickets get loaded on, and you can now schedule this in real time to your field agents, wherever they may be. They have a mobile app where they can track their tasks and go issue stock and track completion and the like. Really, really phenomenal. Let me show you a few screenshots from that. Again, a few screenshots are not going to do this justice, but I just want to talk through the two main areas. First and foremost, like I said, the scheduling. This has a lot of features. You can hide things. You can drag and drop different tasks. You can see live. So this is a very zoomed out map, but you can actually zoom in, see people's locations in real time, see the different tasks that they are scheduled to do, highlight different priorities, highlight different classes of technicians or consultants or whoever it is that you have that's going to go out. really, really impressive scheduling board built practically for this organization. And then on the other side, technician, they are sitting with a mobile device and they can get information on here's the next task that I need to do. Here is the list of all tasks that I need to do. They can get information on if they are doing, for instance, maintenance on an asset or they are at a specific location, what has been done in the past. So again, if you've got maintenance personnel, have we been called out here 20 times? Are there common things that breaks on this specific piece of kit, or just what's happened on this site? If it has been pre-agreed, you can preload what material might be required, or they can just simply pull from their boot stock, from their van stock, issue out material, record completion, record tasks. You can have checklists that they do afterwards, and all of that goes into the billing that ultimately goes to a client. Because it's real time, because it's immediate, you have, of course, far fewer mistakes, because anybody that has a team that's out in the field and that are relying on papers, papers disappear, notes get mangled, and nobody can read their handwriting the day after. Here, it's all immediate, it's all on device. You can have live signatures. Again, just really built for purpose. I can't compliment this enough. All right, enough of that. Let's go on to the buzzword of the day, AI. It really does feel like the last couple of months, no presentation in the IT space is complete without at least a nod to AI. So this is absolutely our nod. NetSuite is doing an absolutely amazing job with really getting AI embedded. I've said for a long time, I'm not a proponent for trying to just have a random AI agent try to pull tasks through just so that you can say that you've got AI. NetSuite has gone a little bit slower than some of the competition, but they have gone and built a very reliable infrastructure around the AI. And we are seeing lots of small tweaks, but all of them are really worthwhile. I'm not going to talk about anything big today. The AI text enhance, it's available now. You'll see constant refinements on this. It is really small upgrades, but for anybody that needs to go and generate descriptions and generate text in the system, it's an annoyance that you can do without. And you may have seen this where in certain fields, you've got this little icon that has a little plus where you can go and ask AI to take any text, so any descriptions, any notes and so on, clean it up. Really useful if you're not a great speller. You can generate from prompt. You can make something longer. You can shorten it. That's been around now since the previous edition. And you can also now do live translations. So if you need to push things through into a different language, that is now available directly in system. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but is such a useful little feature to have. Well worth taking a look. Intelligent recommendations. Now, this has also been around for a bit of time. So a lot on the sales teams and just getting them to work better. What the intelligent recommendations does is it tries to model buying behavior from your customers and on your sales orders, and I'll jump towards that. So you'll see here we've got lots of different rules, also about alternative customer context. I'll show that, just talk to that in a moment. So what you now have on your sales orders, on your quotes, in essence, any sales side document, you have the option as you are filling in items to click on intelligent recommendation. And it's a nice, pretty screen that comes up, and it will recommend based on the rule that you've got in the top. And you'll see here, I've got the buy again rule selected here. So these are items that the customer has bought recently, but there's a few different base rule sets that you can put on top of this, and then NetSuite will go and say, I think this is probably a good starting point. This is such a useful little feature because probably about 80 or 90% of orders tends to be common repeat goods, either goods the customer has bought recently or the most popular series of goods. This might not be everything, but if you can cut down, say it's even only 70%, this is a much faster way to enter information. You simply do up arrows and down arrows on this short selection of items, click apply, and if you need to add lines to the bottom, well, you absolutely can. This, as well, is getting better with absolutely every iteration. It really does have a focus on these intelligent recommendations. So they are already good and they are getting better with every release. Well worth looking at. Especially if you have high volume orders, any place where you've got sales staff that needs to enter a lot of these, it is worth it. Just going back, we'll also note for those that might be running Suite Commerce, this is also available on Suite Commerce where you can have these recommendations running on your customers' carts. All right. We have a Salesforce. They are now doing amazing things on the intelligent recommendations. We now want to pay out commissions. And anybody that is working with commissions knows that it always starts really simple and commissions invariably get horrendously complex. This is where the incentive compensation comes in. It is a whole module built around tracking and paying commissions based on more complex rules. And this is really where this specific module shines. If you are paying commissions and they are simple and straightforward, you can do that very simply with just a report. It's typically not a onerous effort then, and there's multiple ways in which you can actually accomplish that. However, the moment that you start getting into anything more complex, where your sales staff have quotas that they need to abide by, and that changes the percentage commission that they have, where you are looking at how profitable it is before you get commission, where you've got multiple rules where your sales staff are dividing specific regions by, and I'm talking about the NetSuite concept of region, which is not just geographical. It could be a subset of locations. It could be a subset of customers. It could be a subset of products and different commission structures based on that. Or you've got team commissions. That's also really tricky. What happens if you have a manager and they're getting a percentage of their subordinates, or you've got multiple people working together to make a sale? Those things are usually very non-trivial, and NetSuite has managed to get really, really good solution that overcomes that. You can go and you can generate multiple commission rules. That's the bottom thing that you're seeing here. You set up a specific rule to say, this rule applies to this specific subset of sales lines. So if it is this product and this customer and this specific billing class, payment method, really whatever it is, then I want to apply a specific rule. And then you say, per sales employee, you have the following plans that are assigned through to you, and you will be getting commission based on these products, these lines. And you can see very, very quickly how that's being calculated. You can push that across through to a dashboard that the salesperson has so that they can track in real time what commission they are likely to receive. Very powerful, very, very useful. All right. Collaboration. Also a big buzzword. I don't think this is anything particularly new. I wanted to just show a few small things here in terms of collaboration. NetSuite's always been good with this, and it's in the small things that I think NetSuite really shines in terms of collaborating. It is the ability to track tasks, to work together on projects, to make notes, to have one central place where you are bringing together all the information. And there are multiple things that NetSuite does that really takes a look at this. If I can just highlight a few of my favorites, I think the project side, if you're running a project-centric organization, the project dashboard and just everything that's around that has made it a lot easier to get an oversight on projects. And because projects are big, by their very nature, they are big, clunky things where lots of people need to do different things. The fact that you've got the Gantt chart, the tasks that flows through to all of the other CRM features has really been a major boon to what NetSuite does. Tasks, if you are not using them, and I see a lot of our own customers that aren't using tasks, in my opinion, to their fullest, it is well worth taking a look at. You can create tasks on other people. You can create tasks on yourself. You can have reminders. These reminders can flow through to your Outlook if that is integrated. So there are a lot of things that you can do here. Some customers have other tools. Of course, that's fine. Part of what makes NetSuite really powerful, this is if you have a specific tool outside of NetSuite that you like to use, continue doing so. There's absolutely no problem with that. NetSuite plays really well with others. Two things, and I think I may have noted them at some point in the past, but this is one that I get to customer sites and I see people not using this, and there really is no excuse. Two small things. One, if you don't have this drag and drop icon on every single transaction that you are attaching files to, contact us. We need to switch that on. You have this available. You can have the ability to drag and drop any file, and that will automatically attach as part of the files of that transaction. It is such a small thing, but it is there. You have to use it. The file drag and drop, simple, straightforward, but it is such a time saver for anybody that needs to attach things. The other one, which is a small one, and I know I spoke about that last time, but again, this is available. There's no additional fees for you. You just need to get this switched on, is sticky notes. This is one of my favorite little collaboration tools because we like sticky notes. It's a visual thing. You can have different colors. You can make comments. You can reply to other people's sticky notes. And there is a central place where you can see all the notes that you've placed here. Memos are great. I'm not taking anything away from the standard NetSuite memos, but sticky notes, well worth a look at. If you can find some value there, please get it switched on. Okay, something that we've been working on internally. Now, this is very much still a work in process in that this is going to simply get better. Hani has been working from us, our head of development, and the reason why this came about is a need on your customer, specifically on the customer screens, to have specific graphs and measures on something that the salespeople can use. This is what it is meant to do. It is a very generic tool. We've got a specific few niche cases where we have certain pieces of information that we are putting through on these little graphs. But I think what this maybe doesn't show in this specific screenshot is that this specifically is a little dashboard that sits on the customer, and it can be almost any piece of information that is in NetSuite. We've got different visualizations. We are going to be working a lot on this to get a standard set of nice customer dashboard metrics out. So please keep an eye on this. If you have use cases here, if you've got any sales staff that need to get specific graphs, information out that you don't already have, contact us. You can be part of this journey as well as we continue to make this better. So please keep an eye on this spot. It's very, very exciting. Last, I think this is my last topic for today. Actually, there might be another something after this, but I did speak about this last time as well, integrations and so on. As I said previously, NetSuite plays well with others. NetSuite's been on the internet, has been part of this ecosystem for such a long time that it really does, we can integrate with everything. We've got lots of stories of weird and wonderful integrations that we've built, but the language is getting so common that it is becoming easier and easier to integrate into other systems. Now, to that end, there is one specific one that is worth talking through. It is the NetSuite connector. So we can, from our side, do a direct connection with any piece of software. NetSuite themselves, however, have built this connector to facilitate connectivity to most of the common areas. So the short list is there's the big e-commerce ones, Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and Adobe Commerce, which I've not worked with, but few people are on there. You've got some connectors into Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. We've got direct connections to Salesforce, and to certain points of sale, Shopify, Square, and Oracle Symphony. So there are a bunch of pre-built connectives, pre-built connectivity in this, and we've got another longer talk on this. So if you are interested in this NetSuite connector and you want to get a bit more information, please reach out to us, but we do also have another webinar that talks much more on this connector. All right, that is enough now from my side. I'm going to hand you back to Emma to just talk through the last few topics. Emma?
Great, thank you, Hendrik. Hopefully that's given you all a bit of food for thought as we head into the weekend. So just before we close out the session today, there's a few areas I wanted to highlight. So one of those was just around the CRM user type. You may already be aware of this, but I think it's relevant for this session today. NetSuite do have a CRM only user, which is specifically for your sales reps, marketing, and support reps. Just to highlight around the costs of this, so it comes in at around 80% of a full user license. And one of the big things around this particular user type is that these CRM users do not count towards your NetSuite service tier. So you might be aware that you've got a limit on your tier depending on whether you're on standard or premium, and these users don't count towards that. So that's a plus for these. And just some key takeaways. So I think really this session today was looking at particular modules which are going to really enhance your NetSuite CRM. So we had a look at CPQ, which is around that fast quoting piece. Also incentive compensation. So as Hendrik mentioned, anyone that's got sales teams where you are paying a commission, there's some huge time savings and complexity savings there with that module. And also around the field service management. The other piece, as Hendrik said, is those AI enhancements. So I think we'll be seeing a lot more of these as we go through, but these particular ones around the AI text enhance, that's definitely come in handy for me. And the intelligent sales recommendations are some things to really have a look at. And as Hendrik highlighted, if you do need support with any of those, please do feel free to reach out and we can happily talk you through the process. So as I mentioned, if there is anything that you want to explore further that we've discussed today, if you want to set up any more in-depth demonstrations of any of the modules that we've touched on, or if you just want to talk through your CRM needs in greater depth, please feel free to reach out to either myself, if I'm your account manager, or to Esther, or if you're not sure who, please just feel free to reach out to me. And we'll be happy to assist you to go through your requirements in a bit more detail. And as I mentioned at the top of the session today, we'll be sending out this presentation today, and we'll also send out the part 1, so it is worth a watch. We are going to be continuing with the OneConnect webinars into next year. So also please keep an eye on your inboxes, because we will be sending out the 2026 schedule over the next coming weeks. Thank you very much for your time today, everyone.